Hello and welcome to The Good, The Bad and The What The Fucks for John Cusack, number 2. I think it's number 2. My phone's just beeping in the background. This is the first thing I am officially filming for 2020. Yep, 2020. It's New Year's Day. As I say, I've just spent the entire morning going through 10 John Cusack movies. This is pretty epic. This is going to be over an hour long video, and I'll be back at the very end to fill in the gaps. Hope you enjoyed. Hello and welcome to The Good, The Bad and The What The Fucks, John Cusack, Volume 2. Now I did say Nicolas Cage was going to be the next entry after watching 10 more Nicolas Cage movies in a row. I think that's at least 30 films now of Nicolas Cage. And John Cusack was meant to be before the last 2 Nicolas Cages. And I watched stuff like The Bagman, The Carrier, High Fidelity, being John Malkovich. I think the original idea was Casper's got this little weird door in his house and we were going to do the whole Jack point of view kind of thing. So I think that's what stalled that one. I was waiting on Jack and obviously trying to film with Jack, bless him. It's just a nightmare. So I think Nicolas Cage took a fact. So John Cusack movies, there's definitely 10 lying around. I just can't stomach for another Nicolas Cage. So I've decided to do John Cusack next. And that's just finished. I'm Better Off Dead. Now I've had that for a while, and this is actually from the director of one of my favourite films of the 80s, One Crazy Summer. And Better Off Dead is one of the first films Casper lent me when we became friends about 15 years ago. One Crazy Summer was, you know, when we talked about what was our 80s films, and Casper had said, have you seen Better Off Dead? And I was like, no, and that's the only time I've seen it. And I think it's been knocked around a bit. You see it on DVD, but it got a random Blu-ray release through it went to Paramount distribution, CBS Blu-ray. It just appeared one day, no extra features, no content. Now it's made the year before One Crazy Summer. I'm sorry about the lighting in my room. It's appalling, Stephen. And it looks really good on Blu-ray, unlike this light. Oh, what the hell's wrong with this light? Wow. This light never lasts very long. So anyway, I've just watched it. It's got a great 80s cheesy soundtrack. It gives you a little bit of more love for Hot Tub Time Machine, as some of it's set in a ski resort, but a lot of it's just set in a small town, so it once makes its mind up. I think if it was shot in a ski resort fully, I would have enjoyed that a little bit more, or the idea that basically this guy loses his girlfriend because she's got a crush on the guy who can get the quickest down the K12 ski slope, and he spends the movie trying to get her back. And he wants to go down it, and it's a suicide like run on the ski slopes and all that, and that's the moral of the story. Pack some awesome cheese. There's an exchange student girl in it as well, and it's sort of like that red herring of what's going to be girl, and some great stuff. There's a lot of cast who appear in One Crazy Summer the year after as well. It's got a lot of nice 80s pop kind of tunes. There's a lot of, especially that end bit there, I don't know, it was Duran Duran or Dead or Alive, when they're going down the hillside, and it just screams Hot Tub Time Machines. That's pretty cool. John Cusack's amazing in it as always. Very similar character to what he plays with in One Crazy Summer. He's an illustrator. Some of his drawings come to life. There's even these weird hamburgers that come alive. There's a lot of great jokes, like when he doesn't pay the kid who keeps putting his dad's garage door out with the newspapers, and he wants $2, and this kid follows him everywhere, even to when they have this massive ski off at the end. He's going down the ski slope after them, going, $2, give me $2. It's fucking ridiculous, but it's funny. But when it was fading off there in the then credits there, and you pull back at the Dodger Stadium, and you see this little bike riding towards it, I'm sure there's like a sound clip of $2 just missing, because you kind of, oh, there's the kid again after his $2. It just never really gets resolved. Some funny practical effects in it. You know, it's not like a gross out kind of comedy. It's a coming of age. The character goes from some absolute, you know, there's a lot of suicide attempts that go stupidly wrong. It's been a good giggle. He plays saxophone. He has to work at the Piggy Burger. You know, just John Cusack just fucking owns it. He does. I mean, he's an amazing actor. And this is one of the ones that really started, I mean, this would be really early on in his career. But now just watching it there, I've just had a few giggles. The whole 80s montages of building the car, fixing the car, the great how he has the reoccurring races and keeps crashing into the same people. Mr. Myers has been sampled quite a few times throughout movies. Again, it's quite funny when he has these little daydreams and these fantasies about the burgers and what he wants to do, and they're quite really funny as well, especially when it comes back to Crash Reality. But no, I've really enjoyed that, just sitting on the background as an edit. But as I say, like John Cusack, I think I was in about 6 films of John Cusack, mind. 6. But I've bought a few. I think Pushing Tin, that's going to have to be the next one, because that's been sitting on the shelves, and this is a weird sci-fi one I've had for about a year. So there's a couple of John Cusacks in there, and then there's a lot of John Cusacks down and around there, including revisiting High Fidelity and Identity. Identity was another one. There was a pile. There was a pile of them. The fucking pile is still there, honestly, right? The pile is still there. So this was the original. Identity. The Raven. I'm gonna have to watch The Raven again. The Carrier. 1408. The Contract. American Sweethearts. Grosse Pointe Blank. High Fidelity and being John Malkovich. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Are you shitting me? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9. 9. I was one off. I was one film off. Finishing it last time. I had no idea. I mean, I knew where they were. They've been on the bottom of that pile. They've been there that long that I got my record player a year ago that I built this into, right? And at the bottom of the spine. So a year ago. I'm going to shake it up a bit. I'm going to try and watch a few of these with Brit, because there's some like American Sweethearts is fucking brilliant. The Raven. Again though, I don't want to do a half-ass review. I'm going The Raven. We'll have to watch it for this. We'll have to definitely watch it for this episode. But yeah, I'm going to bring in Pushing Tin and that sci-fi one. And there might be a couple more in there. I'm not sure. Pushing Tin's the next one. See you in the next video. Right, hello. Right, I am watching Pushing Tin next. Haven't even opened it, look. Haven't even opened it. 20th Century Fox. I've seen this trailer quite a lot. I'm sure Angelina Jolie's in this. Yeah. This must be when she either married Billy Bob Thornton or just met Billy Bob Thornton. I'm not quite sure. So, as I absolutely butcher John Cusack and Billy Bob Thornton, Pushing Tin, a comedy about losing control. I am struggling with this. Right, cashing in. Here we go. Con Air. Con Air appeared in my last Good, the Bad and What the Fuck's Nicolas Cage, so I've just recently seen it. So let's talk about it being in the John Cusack's What the Good, the Bad and What the Fuck's. It's a good film. It's aged well, violent, over cheesy. Love the score. A stellar cast. John Cusack's performance is class. Nicolas Cage's is a bit weird. John Malkovich's portrayal for Cyrus the Virus is mint. Really cemented Jeremy Bruckheimer. It's directed by Simon West. He went on to direct The Expendables 2. The over-top kills at the end. I mean, how Cyrus the Virus dies is totally over the top. He goes flying off a fucking ambulance through a glass building, gets electrocuted. I mean, this is in the middle of Las Vegas. Then lands on a conveyor belt and then gets his head crushed. What the fuck? But John Cusack's performance, especially how he bounces off Cole Meany, is really good. The whole tongue-in-cheek about the car. Lachlan, you know, how he's the voice on the ground to try and help clear Cameron Poe's name. It's, you know, it's brilliantly cast. For the time, John Malkovich was big for being in The Line of Fire, Alive. Nicolas Cage had just come off The Rock, and John Cusack, you know, well, so Vin Rames is in this as well. Cole Meany, Steve Buscemi as well. It's just a great action-packed film. I think the score is class. I can't even give that. Just no, that's the what the fuck moment. Me trying to sing the Con Air theme tune. I love the artwork. I'm ashamed I didn't pick that up on Laserdisc. Got me handed a HorrorCon this year. I think it was like 10 quid. I was like, right, okay, I want these. And I just didn't justify it. Just been slapped out on Blu-ray. Did I watch it on Blu-ray? I think I only watched it on DVD actually. But yeah, just to throw it in there, because when I just looked there, trying to remember what the John Cusack #1 had. So John Cusack #1 had One Crazy Summer, which I've talked about. He had a brief cameo in Stand By Me, which again establishes him as well. Is just that 80s guy, you know, he would be the cool brother you would totally miss, especially how he portrays the characters in Better Off Dead and One Crazy Summer. We've got Dragon Blade with Jackie Chan. Fuck my life, that movie was just fucking weird, man. That's the one with Aidan Brody in different languages, and it's fucking weird. 2012, when the Wind of the World ends and there's the massive Noah's Ark fucking submarine and John Cusack. I think John Cusack was cast wrong on that, and I think Roland Emmerich is just looking for another disaster. It was a big what the fuck. Frozen Ground, which reunited Nicolas Cage and John Cusack, probably one of John Cusack's most different performances he's ever done. Very dark, based on the true story of a real character. Grim as fuck, that movie. Cell, massive disappointment considering Samuel Jackson and John Cusack were mint in 1408, which probably will be in this. But check out Fast Forward Reviews, because 1408 has had its own episode. It's filmed in about 4 different hotels all over. Like there's one in Spain, there's one in Scotland, Manchester. Check it out. So that got justified in there. It might get. I would say 1408's probably one I'm gonna swap out, because I like to watch that one with Brit, because it is a creepy movie. Hot Tub Time Machine, I think it's absolutely genius. It's an absolute brilliant movie. The Prince is there as well. Don't really remember The Prince. I met Jason Patrick about 2 weeks ago. He was fucking awesome. I nearly mentioned The Prince to him, but Jason Patrick started taking pictures of my arm. So yeah, it was Jason Patrick. Jason Patrick taking pictures of my arm. It's weird because obviously with Jason Patrick, it's like, yeah, Lost Boys, yeah, Speed 2, and like Sleepers. But The Prince was quite good. I remember that being good. John Cusack's just the friend who keeps coming back. Chakra, he began again. I'm glad that was reviewed, because I wasn't fancying revisiting that. It's a very what the fuck musical. That appeared in the Wesley Snipes one as well, doesn't it? So yeah, that was revisited twice. That's another one. And Drive Hard. Like fuck me, John Cusack. So that was the first 10. So we've had Better Off Dead, which is still sitting there from last night. Con Air is now in, and the next one's going to be Pushing 10, something I haven't seen. And since then, John Cusack's just been popping. I'm trying not to buy any. I'm going to do 10 more John Cusacks and then Nicolas Cage, and twiddle down and sort some DVDs out there and see if there's any lodged away. I think Van Damme's definitely going to have to go on the cards. It's a trailer for Identity. Why Hollywood won't cast John Cusack anymore. They clearly fucking do. John Cusack, The Bad Ones. Stuff like, yeah, there's a load of John Cusack movies. Right, let's see what Pushing 10's about. Okay, so it is officially 10 to 2 in the morning. Pushing 10 has just finished. So bright. It doesn't take this long to watch films. I have to keep pausing it when I'm editing in the background. I've always thought this was going to be a laugh out loud comedy. I don't know, Billy Bob Thornton's got like a dry, deadpan look about him, and John Cusack always like delivers and stuff like this. And this is the height of John Cusack, you know, really carried through in the 2000s. Billy Bob Thornton, you know, was quite a big guy in general. If you look back at him in Tombstone, and you know, to me personally, his breakout performance in Armageddon, but did good stuff with a couple of Sam Raimi movies and stuff like that. Obviously, Angelina Jolie's in this as well. Thingy Bob, Claire Blankett's in there. Jake Weber's in there as well. So the director of Four Winds and Funeral, didn't know that when I was watching it. Right, this is a 2-hour movie. It's 118 minutes. I didn't know that. I was expecting an hour and a half. Laugh out loud. There's a funny outtake as well when I was on it. I've powered through this. It completely caught me off guard. The trailer was quite drilled into my head actually, because as I say, it was heavily advertised back then. It was quite interesting to see the flight control and seeing what they have to deal with, looking at the screens and what's going on. And like, I mean, it'd be probably a little bit dated now. A lot of the things will be computer orientated, but it looks like a very stressful job. And there's a few. I mean, it's just a comedy about losing control. It is a high stress job. I didn't realise it was a 15 until I seen Angelina Jolie's tits. Then the F-bombs started dropping, which were really well timed. But the storyline is simple. A guy called Nick's basically married, got kids, and bit of a control freak in the new, very laid back, placid. Billy Bob Thornton comes to play, who is called Russell, and he's just laid back, gives everything a go, comes armed with the young wife, and the start. You know, he's very like a cowboy method. I'm sorry, it is 2 o'clock in the morning. But he's getting, no, you shouldn't do that. No, you shouldn't do that. And he straight away, Nick doesn't like Russell kind of thing, but Russell's just like, hey, whatever. And then it really catches you off guard because Nick goes and sleeps with Russell's wife. And then Russell's cool about that. Then Russell's on about, he's just so laid back. He's saying, well, you know, you marry a younger woman, pretty. And it's all about like, he had an airplane fly over his head and he sort of changed his perception on life. But Nick basically loses it all. Stresses with his job. His wife finds out. Loses his wife. And he always finds Russell again to try and put him on the right track back. And it's quite good. As a Billy Bob Thornton, you know, really, it's almost like, I mean, to me personally, I would have put the 4 of them. I know Angelina Jolie wasn't probably that famous at that point, but the 2 floating head syndrome have got going there. Both laughing like Billy Bob Thornton smile. He didn't really smile that much in the film. He's just so laid back. CGI in the airplanes probably hasn't aged amazingly. But again, it's all about like a comedy trailer and stuff. It was good. It was enjoyable. It just wasn't as laugh out loud as you expect. Had a lot of grounded, pounded reality in there as well. Again, an interesting concept of the job, what it would be like and how stressful that would be like. A lot of there's a book, I need to find out who that actor is. There's an actor in it, he's been bugging the fuck out of us all the way through it. I'm sure the last from Twister, is it the last one Twister? Was she in Twister? She always wants to sleep with someone. I want to find out who she is as well. And then I'm going to get to bed. Pushing 10. 1999. Wow, that was a long time ago, that movie. See, on the artwork on IMDb, they've added Angelina Jolie and Kate Blanchett in there. So yeah, kind of stole the idea that it is. So we had Billy Bob Thornton, Jake Weber, that's who I'd name checked before. Dawn of the Dead, Meet Joe Black, that's not what I know him from. U571, want to see that, the pictures. 15 Reasons Why, Homeland. It's not. The Following. God, this guy's been fucking loads of films. Heaven. Dawn of, it is. It's Dawn of the Dead. It's him standing at the pier at the end of it. That deadpan look. I mean, he's meant to be in. Fucking hell. Talk about ripping off Gone in 60 Seconds cover. What's that? I thought, he's in Gone in 60 Seconds. No, he's in 100 Mile Rule. Gone in 60 Seconds, anyone? Anyone? So yep, the lass. She always wants to sleep with someone. What's she called? That guy, Kurt Fuller as well. He was in so many things as a kid, like No Holds Barred and Ghostbusters too. I remember saying to my mum, "Where can I buy a gun to kill this guy?" It's just like I just hated him. He's a really good, funny actor. That lass. Oh, she's in Godzilla, also known as Zilla, from Matthew Broderick. That is him. Has a bit of crush on Nick Totopoulos. That's her there. Right, so that was Pushing 10. I have no idea what the next one is. I think it's going to have to be that sci-fi movie, because I think that's the only other one in the room. And, right, yeah. But, yeah. It was a good movie for what it was. It wasn't outstanding. There is some funny bits in it, but at least it wasn't a what the fuck film. So, yeah, John Cusack, strikes good. Strikes good. Fuck, I need to go to bed. So, tonight I'm going to be watching Singularity, John Cusack, When the World Ends, Another One Begins. So I've had this since the day it was bought, and I've just realised I've literally spent about 10 minutes looking for Earth Girls Are Easy. I've just filmed retro VHS, so that's Earth Girls Are Easy, and it was down there by the John Cusack collection. And today when I was reminiscing, I remember I'd seen Runaway Train. I'd watched it, it was on the pile, so that would have been 10. That generally would have been 10 movies that I'd watched. And this one is on for 122 minutes. I remember John Cusack trying to, I don't want to judge it, he was trying to manipulate the jury. Don't even know what the ending is, so that's have to go back on the pile. So there was 10 John Cusack movies, but that for now, let's see what Singularity is about. Is this going to be one with John Cusack? See, this is what worries us. John Cusack name isn't in the top credit on the back, and there's only one picture of him looking suspicious. We're in for it. We're only in for 89 minutes. Maybe we'll get 2 John Cusacks in tonight. Maybe. Let's see how this goes. I don't know what the fuck I've just watched. It took a long time to watch that film tonight. Because I've been editing stuff and rendering stuff and uploading stuff, and it's quite a new. This is the newest John Cusack film I probably own, and it's been weird to go from Better Off Dead and Pushing 10 into this because he's aged 30 years since Better Off Dead, and looks like he's, well, before John Cusack's performance, there's a lot of font at the start of the movie. Black font. There's a lot of footage of Hong Kong. That looks great. It's all about the future. It's all about the rise of artificial intelligence and robots, and you think, borrowing a bit from iRobot there. And John Cusack's just like the creator, and you know, he's the god. He's a technology god. And they launch this new robot, and it instantly wipes out the human race. It's like fucking Judgment Day happens. And you think, alright then. Like, he's like, right. And his mate's like, he just wiped out the entire world. And he's like, yep. And then it cuts to 97 years later. So it cuts to 97 years later, and you think, well, okay, weird. John Cusack's still talking to his mate, you're like, what the fuck? And then there's a kid at the start of this, and it's showing you like how bad society's got and all that, and it's showing him he's like his mum, and you see him, and obviously the end of the world happens, and then we meet him straight away, and he's like, what? You're like, oh, he's alive, like what the fuck's going on here? So he wanders around. It's plain and obvious straight away because they tell you that it's a robot. So he'd Terminator Salvation, Terminator. Then the last from the Hunger Games turn up. She's not the last from the Hunger Games, but she looks like it. Rocking a crossbow, bringing on a bit of Walking Dead vibe. Just like to point out everyone's clothes are absolutely pristine, considering there's no human race left on this planet. Everything looks okay. It's like, okay. Meanwhile, John Cusack and his mate, who has a cyborg head, when he wants to have a cyborg head, have a discussion about trying to find Aurora, this hidden place. Okay, and this robot and woman gallivant across the countryside, interact with some robots that don't look too good, but they're good. But the story just gets a bit more baffling. So they run away from a few people, a bit like Walking Dead. It's like they're humans and all thinking zombies. There's a couple of fighting scenes. It just starts flashing, then it goes into his own memories. Meanwhile, John Cusack's just staring at a bit like Pushing Tin. He's staring past, and there's been a lot of stuff put visually, but then they're looking for this aurora, and they turn up at this castle, and then this big fucking spaceship turns up, and you think, what's going on here? And then they find out what aurora is, and the movie's just been left open-ended there, that they're off to get aurora. So the movie doesn't even have an ending. I was like, what the fuck? John Cusack. John Cusack's probably done about a week or less work at a green screen. His name's slapped all over the box. It's a very sci-fi TV movie, but I don't know what the fuck's going on. It's sort of like I've watched iRobot, Hunger Games, Walking Dead, Terminator, John Cusack, with no remorse. He's so blank. The CGI looks good in bits, but then it looks bad in bits. I mean, there's a bit where they're running through a tunnel, and there's a robot chasing, and then there's this roll falling from it, like black suit and stuff, and you think, that's After Effects for you. Right, next one is going to be probably tomorrow night when I watch American Sweethearts with Brit, but that's as baffled as that. Right, thanks for watching. Bye for now. Okay. It's a couple of nights. Yeah, it's a couple of nights since I watched that weird film. That I tried talking to Casper about it, actually, because Casper's a big John Cusack fan, and Casper was like, "Is it any good?" I was like, "Have you not even seen it?" So, God, singling it out of love. But on the other note, I've just revisited American Sweethearts yet again, and I think this is one of John Cusack's best performances, best films. Julia Roberts, Billy Crystal, Catherine Zeta-Jones, John Cusack and Catherine Zeta-Jones have worked together on High Fidelity, along with like Cindy Toutier, Hank Azaria, Christopher Walken, Seth Green. It's a stellar cast, and it's a brilliant story, and it's an ensemble. It's not like it's a Julia Roberts movie, it's a Billy Crystal. They all work together. John Cusack has his name last, but if you don't know it basically much, they are a Hollywood power couple, hit after hit after hit, and it has some cheesy movies at the start. Kiki is her sister who does everything for her, and Billy Crystal's a spin doctor, and basically Christopher Walken is House Wiseman, who's making the new movie and refuses to give it to the film company, the film studio. So it sets a mass panic, and the spin doctor sets up a press junket right out there in Havana. But in the meantime, these guys have been apart for a year. She's had an affair. He's been, that's the other guy, Alan Eckhart's in it as well. He's been up with the monks, having a mental breakdown, and basically the idea of, let's promote this movie, their last movie together, trying to get them back together. And is there a twist? He's in love with Mary's sister. It is funny. It's got some really funny things. For a 12, it's got some F-bombs, it's got a lot of masturbation jokes, sexual jokes, innuendos, but it's just so well made. Score's really good. It's funny. It looks like it's quite isolated. It looks like they've actually got that hotel and just rented it out and had a lot of fun at that hotel, because it always takes place in a hotel. But there's some really good funny bits in this movie. Scenes of limos, who's going first, I don't care. Shot on location in Los Angeles on Sony Pictures, sound stages, Nevada, well there you go. Oh yeah, filmed in Las Vegas resort, the site of film's remote junket location. So again, I don't know if that's where it's filmed. So here's a chapter selection. It's got the start, rules of the game, the new Hal Wiseman film, begging for the junket master, Gwen live, Larry King lives in this as well, time of his life, Confronter, Forgive and Forget, Hector, Peeping Thomas, Surviving Rule, 16 pounds ago. So yeah, there's a lot of chapter selections there. It's got some really funny bits, some stuff you don't expect. Billy Connolly having fun with the dog. Seth Green literally just looks like he's learning like a Jedi Master from the best, you know what I mean? Seth Green's a well-established actor, and it's quite a small role, funny roles, because he gets his one little spoof in with a golf ball, you know, it's just like, he's having a jog, next thing you know, golf ball, and it's just like, poof, there you go, whoop, and he fell over. Some great practical stunts, but it's a really, well, funny movie, so yeah, well done, John Cusack, for that. I think it's one of his best films. But it's late, just finished watching it. So that's so far, it's been Con Air. Well, we started with Better Off Dead. We had Con Air, we've had Pushing Tin, and Insignificancy, and now American Sweethearts. So we're on the good, it's going well, this one. Yeah, it was great to revisit that, especially with Brit, because Brittany hasn't seen it. So yeah, don't know what's next. Be the next couple of nights, I'm going to take a magic guess about what's next. The next one for John Cusack is going to be Grosse Pointe Blank, which, since I did the last review, I've actually picked it up for only £1 on Blu-ray, unopened, so at least I'm revisiting it again on Blu-ray this time. Okay, 2 nights ago when I was in, I started watching Grosse Pointe Blank. It's been on the light there. Halfway through it, really enjoying it. Brit's here now, we've got some tea, so I'm going to jump into High Fidelity, so I have no idea which way. Well, the review, they're going to come together, but yeah, bit of a hiccup. Okay, so here we are. It's good, the bad, and the what the fucks. I will get back to Grosse Pointe Blank. I will finish watching that tonight and get that done. But last night we watched High Fidelity, based off the book. I hate the DVD cover, not released on Blu-ray. John Cusack's little face on there, based on the, is it Nick who? Nick Hornby. Yeah, originally set in Liverpool. It's been tripped into Chicago now. Here's the big box X-Retinal VHS that I've had there, and I love that cover. It's what you see on the re-edition of the book. John Cusack, High Fidelity, and loads of different John Cusacks. Could have put Jack Black in there, could have put Cathy Jones in there, could have put the whole cast. Smart gags, clutch story performances, always watchable, John Cusack. And on the back we've got Jack Black, and it has not been rewound. So that's awesome to have. John Cusack absolutely owns this movie. It's one of John Cusack's best performances because he breaks the fourth wall. Him and Christian Slater can do it so well. Matthew Broderick from Ferris Bueller does it really well. What did you think? Because you didn't know anything about it.
I loved it. I think it's been one of them films that everybody's went, hey, you're not seeing that? But yeah, I loved it. It was awesome. And Jack Black was amazing in it as well.
Jack Black was great. All the support cast were class. The lad who plays Dick was really good. So we've got John Cusack, Jack Black, Lisa Bonet, Joe... Todd, what's his name?
Todd Louiso?
The Venom guy from Snakes on a Plane. He plays it really well. Tim Robbins, another John Cusack film I want to catch up is Tapeheads from way back. Sees that Jack Black would reunite with Tim Robbins on Tenacious D as well. So there's a lot of people in this. But
and the head teacher of School of Rock.
John Cusack's sister, Joan Cusack. Yeah.
Brilliant.
They were in a lot of films together. They play off really well. There's a really good scene at the funeral. So the story, if you don't know it, it's basically John Cusack's just broke up with his girlfriend. She's left him, and there's conspiracy about what's happened to him. And he's all about top 5. He's on about top 5 records. He has a massive record collection. Like literally, he wants to change the order. He owns a record shop. As Jack Black, has his friend Dick, in the shop split down. You reminisce, it flows really well, flashes back. John Cusack though, trying to put John Cusack as a teenager. They can pull it all at once, but it's no. You can take that bandana off for a start, John Cusack. But again, it's showing you about why it is, and so getting to a midlife crisis and finding out. But what the film, it really flows well. Cathy Jones is in it. There's some really funny bits. Jack Black nails it on the head as a record shop owner. Some of the fiascos and some of the outcomes and some of the imagination running wild works really well. I think this, if you haven't seen it, I think it's really good. Got some strong things about relationships as well.
Lenny Kravitz's wife?
I believe it's Lenny Kravitz's wife.
That would be funny if it wasn't.
I love her bedroom as well, how she's got the old tatty mirrors to divide the room out again. Something I've done, what's inspired me in bedroom. I love that American, so they've got so much space.
Yeah.
So that was really good. I just think it's class. I love it how he'll go from getting a phone call. He's about Ian. So he'll go, oh, she's in the shop, goes out, has a conversation, goes, I'll be right back, walks in the room and breaks down the camera. What, Ian? And what fucking Ian. He just nails it. I think John Cusack really, really hits this one home.
I'd never seen a John Cusack movie. I've watched 2 in a week.
Yeah. Was the one American Sweethearts?
Oh, awesome movie.
See, the thing is, I did this last year, before we got together, and just like, right, I was up to 9, and I was like, fuck. But it's been great to revisit them again, and like again, me, rather than try to fucking quickly remember, I've revisited this film again, and I've got some absolute love for it. I mean, it's just so well made. But the DVD, you get deleted scenes, you get an interview with John Cusack and Stephen Frears. But again, it's just something that needs to get released on Blu-ray. Got a chapter selection in this. Opening credits, music, soundtrack's great.
Oh yeah.
Some great music cues in this, because obviously he's a DJ. Top 5, obviously Championship Records, Charlie. To say number 4, changes snobs, the discovery, the backstory, the boss, the advice, passing customers. I mean, just got an insight. I mean, like if you watch the Basketball Diaries, this is classed an exclusive booklet. Really, apparently, you know, it's got a nice little extra feature that about John Cusack. Rob Gordon, screenplay / co-producer. Most recently starred with Tim Robbins at The Cradle Will Rock. Didn't know that. And in a dark comedy, being John Malkovich. The original concept for and the delay, I don't know if I've talked about this with John Cusack, was Jack was originally meant to be, have you seen Being John Malkovich?
No.
So there's a door, and Casper has a door that looks like this door, and me and Casper were going to go into this door, and there's Jack miles away. So yeah, John Cusack earned rave reviews for his performance in Stephen Frears' The Gritters. So it's a reuniting with the Grafters or the Grifters. The Grifters, which is now on 101 Black Label.
Grifters.
Yep. Also roles of 8 Men Out, Say Anything, The Sure Thing, films that have not been on here. Don't jump ahead. And Grosse Point Blank, which will be the next movie. A film which starred, so what else is he in? John Cusack, additional film credits, Con Air, City Hall, Woody Harrelson's Bullets Over Broadway, Shadows and Fog, Clint Eastwood's Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil, True Colours, Fat Man and Little Boy, 16 Candles, additional John Cusack voice, the animated Igor in Anastasia.
Dimitri?
I'm sure Igor's.
Were you reading Igor?
Not Igor. Igor, flashback, Igor appeared in the Christian Slater, Good, the Bad and What the Fox, because John Cusack and Christian Slater are in that.
No.
I need to check that out, but yeah. But that was High Fidelity. Little shout out to Igor. If I find Igor when I need another John Cusack films. But yeah, I want to get back to Grosse Point Blank, which Brittany hasn't seen, but yeah, it's a brilliant film. Let's watch it. Goodbye. Okay, where have I put it? Okay, so High Fidelity, Grosse Point Blank. Now I've watched this over 2 nights and I've made some notes. Apologies for my PlayStation probably humming in the background along my computer. So this film was proper trill at the fuck. Is a laugh out loud VHS. The soundtrack to this is absolutely amazing. It's got everyone you can imagine on it. 99 Red Balloons when they're trying to hide a body. You've got David Bowie in there. It's just packed, absolutely packed. Now it's heavily trailered. John Cusack. This has always been a weird one for me. Grosse Point Blank. He's called Blank. Obviously it's comedy playing on what he's known for, you know what I mean, and it's class. So you've got Mindy Driver in there, Alan Arcard, who gets a bill, but he's quite a short role, who was in American Sweethearts with him, and then you got Dan Aykroyd, you know what I mean. So back then it's like John Cusack, Dan Aykroyd, you can't really go wrong. So I've got some notes down here. You've got Jeremy Piven in this as well, who is in One Crazy Summer and also his best friend in Serendipity. Can't wait to get that. Really need to watch that because it's a fucking Christmas film. That probably gonna have to be the next one with Brit. How many have I got so far? I'll count that. Hang on. Serendipity will have to be next. Not the next one, but by the end of this. Super trailered, just mentioned that. You've got Hank Cesaro, whatever you want to call him, Moore from The Simpsons, who was in American Sweethearts with him. Is it? What do you call him? Moore from The Simpsons, who was in American Sweethearts with him. Is it? What do you want to call him? Moore from The Simpsons, who was in American Sweethearts with him. Is it? national security agent or whatever. Great soundtrack. Pixies, This Monkey's Gone to Heaven. That song, it's got to be the song I played at my funeral. This Monkey's Gone to Heaven. So anyway, it's just finished there. Looks great on Blu-ray. It was cool to revisit this on Blu-ray. Story is, guy nicks off, leaves his girlfriend on the night of prom, disappears, he's become a hitman for hire. Joan Cusack, his sister, is the agent who was in High Fidelity. She's the one on the phone. I don't think there's one scene where they're both together. Oh, there might be. But anyway, he's a hitman, and it's 10-year anniversary, school anniversary. So it's a coming age film for John Cusack, really. If you look at all the films he had back in the 80s, and now he's coming home for his high school reunion. And you know, he turns up and he hasn't seen his girlfriend. She's the voice of the radio, a bit like the character in The Fog. Talks to a small town, and Dan Aykroyd is the competition. So there's a few hits and a few blunders, but he's a hitman. A few hits don't go well. He makes a boo-boo, and Dan Aykroyd steals his contract. So he has to make amends, and one of the amends is take this job in his old hometown. Hasn't been back, and when he gets back, his home's not there. It's actually a supermarket. It has a Doom 2 machine, which is pretty good. And yeah, he revisits his friends and stuff, and it's all about going about a new reunion. But again, it's really, really funny. You got Alan Eckhart, who's his therapist on the phone. He's going, give it a shot. No, don't shoot anything. Very heavily trailered. And this girl give him a second chance and stuff. So it's got some really funny bits. It's got some crude little bits of humour. It's weird because it's a real weird hybrid with a bit of action. It's a John Cusack with a bit of action. John Cusack playing the Stone Cold assassin, but he's got a bit of heart. He's been affected. I think it's done well. I mean, Cusack's behind this. This is another one produced by him, I think. Yeah. Screenplay by John Cusack and Steve Pink. I'm sure I've seen his name on High Fidelity. Let's have a look. High Fidelity's just here. Steve Pink. So it's another collaboration, which I didn't really know about when that happened. These are all just lying on the floor. So it's a collaboration. Obviously they filled it up with his friends. There's some great bits. There's some great spoofs. There's like creepy looking hitman, and I just really, really enjoyed it. But back in the day, it was a bit weird. It was I think back in the day when it was heavily trailered, everyone agrees with this. It was super trailered, and then it was just weird. And then Mindy Driver just seemed to drop off the map. I mean, I love Mindy Driver from Hard Rain. It's just the era of that, and she's just seemed to disappear. Like, fuck, she got that famous. Like, her name was added between Morgan Freeman and Christian Slater on one of the VHSs. Hard Rain is something I definitely need to revisit. Actually, is that not a fucking review random? Fast forward. I'm sure Hard Rain was a... it's my memory's starting to go. Yeah, it definitely was. Might be a podcast. But I have no idea what's next. I need to dig a one out. And I need to dig Serendipity out. Because so far we've got... Right, come here. Fuck. I'm still here. Mother of God, man. Try to pick all them up with one hand. So we've had Better Off Dead, we've had Con Air, we've had that fucking weird science film, Seriality, we've had Pushing Tin, American Sweethearts, High Fidelity, and now Grosse Pointe Blank. So that gives us a total of lucky number 8. Lucky number 7, VHS and High Fidelity together. So yeah, we've got 3 more. One will be Serendipity, so it's Christmas. I have no idea what the other 2 will be. For some reason, I've now decided I'm going to watch Tremors while editing. Just picked the box up. The thing is, I was mentioning the box set on a video as I was looking around, so I went Tremors. Just went the background. So yeah, I'll find another John Cusack film. Oh, I'd love to watch Hot Tub Time Machine as well. See you in the next video. I can't find Serendipity. I've looked, and I've been looking for a white box, but then my memory goes, maybe it's got like a black spine and it's got one of them arty-farty covers. It's never going to end. I won't be surprised we have a power cut. It is one of the windiest days of the year. We have just filmed about 5 minutes of this, and then the camera just switched it off. I'm going to be editing tonight and then the computer might go off. So anyway, as we start once again, we watched Serendipity. Now, massive thank you to Mark Casper Abbott, you white man, white as me on here, for lending this like straight away. Now, if I don't give it back to him very soon, he's going to start kicking off. I once borrowed a film off him and I had it for 8 years. It was called Total Eclipse, starring Mario Van Peebles. It was fucking weird. It went in and it survived. It survived 3 or 4 moves and eventually got it back. Anyway, so don't borrow anything off Casper unless you want it back straight away.
How are you still friends after that?
I don't know. Stood in his wife's dress walking down the aisle as well. That was a bit of a mistake. So, you hadn't seen it before?
No.
Did you like it?
I loved it so much. It's definitely in my favourite films ever. And it'll be on my Christmas watch list every year now.
So the story is John Cusack meets Kate Beckinsale over a pair of gloves in the New York department, Bloomingdale's. If you like Friends and if you like stuff like You Got Mail, it captures the New York vibe quite good. As they basically have this whirlwind couple of hours romance and they play it on Faith. Faith steps in, she doesn't believe. And after an amazing night, they both have prior engagements. He writes his name on a note, number. She runs away, sells to the bookie. She writes her name in the book. And the book goes, and he can't leave it at that, and it fast forwards a couple of years. Now, Jeremy Piven is back, who plays his best friend in, well, he doesn't play his best friend in One Crazy Summer, he's the other jock, but he plays his best friend in Grosse, Pointe. Jim's dad from American Pie is in this. Yeah,
it's pretty much the same guy.
I'm sure it's the guy from Northern Exposure who's the flute guy, so it fast forwards, and but at the same time, they are basically having this flashback of like, what if Faith hadn't stepped in and the wedding doesn't seem to go right for him. She doesn't know if she wants to marry the flute guy. And it works. And I think John Cusack and Kate Beckinsale nail it out the park in the first 15 minutes because they're not together for the rest of the movie. Mm-hmm. I'm not here to spoil films. I am fucking annihilating them. But you want these to get back together. It's like Lake House. You want this to happen. And it's because they nail it and they work so well chemistry wise, and just the innuendos and the score's weird. It's got a bit of a weird jazzy beat going on, and there's some weird edits, but you really get invested, and it's really cleverly written, and then tied up quite quickly at the end as well.
I just love the whole book thing because it reminded me of Definitely Maybe, where he finds a book in the bookshop.
That's it. It really, that's it. It's like the coincidence. I mean, it is funny enough that the note she writes on is still in Serendipity, which is the restaurant in the movie, like years later. And then his wife-to-be gives him the book and he's like, fuck, that is a sign. It does have some very quirky things. The flute playing thing's just class though.
Yeah.
Again though, that flute playing scene, when I think of that flute playing scene, I kind of think of High Fidelity, where that they've got that grungy like little kind of bar kind of going on. It had a similar kind of vibe. No?
I've seen High Fidelity.
Wow. It was the last John Cusack movie we watched.
Oh.
You know, The Record Shop?
Oh, shit, yeah.
Wow.
Sorry. He's making me watch so much stuff at the minute.
But yeah, so the next one won't be, but it should be. It's coming because I had to buy it today. I've took them out of there already.
I'm starting to love John Cusack, by the way.
And it's going to be Swamp Thing. No, John Cusack's not. I'm going to do a little separate unboxing of that. John Cusack is actually in 16 Candles.
I love this cover.
Which is an Arrow release. John Cusack has a small minor role in this, as I found out in High Fidelity when I was reading the book out. So I don't know how many we've had so far. Serendipity is next. I think there's 2 more. So there could be space for that in this one.
That artwork.
Or it could be Runaway Jury. It could be Identity. Fuck me. It could be fucking Twister at this rate with that wind fucking coming.
Wizard of Oz.
We'll have a quick look into this.
That's going to be me in about an hour's time. Check me finding related things in the room.
I nicked in one of my work temps today, Dorothy, because he wears all black and red shoes. I couldn't remember his name. I was like, Dorothy. And he was like, what?
The poor bear. He's only like 16.
It's not the one who didn't know what VHS was. That kid, I was like, didn't know what VHS was.
Wow.
And one of them looks like the bad guy from Ghostbusters 2, and I'm not talking about, it's not him, it's his apprentice.
Are you on about the guy who thought looked like Doug?
Yes. So here it is, 16 candles as we just went around. Looking through the window, and if we flip it out, it's going to have a flip cover because it's arrow. There.
Oh, I much prefer the other.
Yeah, I like the new concept. Came out the same day as Weird Science, which was weird for Arrow to drop 2 films at the same time. Didn't get a special edition like on Monday when they release Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, a one I've got on order. But yeah, 16 candles will be on the cards.
Serendipity, that's what I was after.
Artwork by Serendipity. It's time of your life that may last a lifetime. John Hughes movie. Right. See you in the next video. Not next video, the next film. Not sure what it is. Could be 16 candles. It could be Bagman, also known as the Carrier. It could be The Contract. We'll just see when we get around, because I'm in the middle of watching Astro Monsters and I don't want to pick that up. See you in the next bit. Okay, the next one wasn't 16 candles and isn't 16 candles. It might be 16 candles because this is the 9th one and this is The Contract. So I don't know. I'm seeing how much I'm seeing Brit the following week, so she wants to watch 16 candles, and I've vaguely remembered anyway, so might be that one, but she wants to watch Gremlins 2. I'm ranting, but I've just watched The Contract. Now, I originally watched this, bought this for John Cusack Part 2, and I was just looking on the floor. It was a choice between Identity, Runaway Jury, Finding Igor, and I just had this on the background. Now, if I was just to spitball a review, I would have completely got it wrong, because what I remember wasn't quite what I remembered. Now, the front cover, yes, we're in red. Morgan Freeman, John Cusack holding the gun. I mean, Morgan Freeman, John Cusack not holding the gun. John Cusack holding the gun. The bottom would have justified. Now, Morgan Freeman is a bankable star. He's film royalty. One of the most amazing voices in film history. Never, ever seen him young. Maybe he's on Sesame Street back in the day, but anyway. Just take paychecks. Gone. Park him up there. Now, this has got a bit of love towards Hard Rain, because Morgan Freeman's the bad guy, but he's kind of like wants to be the good guy, and it's Morgan Freeman. Can you treat him as a bad guy? Maybe he's not. Maybe you can. Maybe. It's a Millennium Films, comes up with about 8 different people at the start, and the story basically is he's a hitman. They're out to kill somebody. It's a bit of the Jackal. You don't know who he's going to hit. It's going to be a bit of a swerve. Who the contract is. It's not a very good name for the film, The Contract, to be honest with you. John Cusack is a former copper. Of course he is. He's called Ray. I'm sure he's called Ray in Identity as well. And he is basically suffering the loss of his wife and trying to raise his teenage son Chris. And for a bonding exercise after Chris gets arrested for smoking some pot. He and his son go backpacking out in the country and the big landscapes, and looks out on the Canadian border, whatever. You know, it's nice scenery. So, if you're fans of Cliffhanger, First Blood, it's got elements of this in. You know, it's got that wilderness going down there, and a cat and mouse in the woods kind of thing. So basically, the hit doesn't go well when Morgan Freeman is in an accident and is arrested. He basically then gets broken loose by his bandits, and then it didn't go well. The guy's in 2 car crashes in 2 days, and he finds himself floating down the river. John Cusack and his son save him, and straight away John Cusack's like, whoa, what's going on here? He's handcuffed to another guy. The other guys just died and said, don't let this guy out of sight. Of course, taken out, they're in the middle of the woods, can't phone, and they venture off trying to get to somewhere where they can holler somebody. Meanwhile, Morgan Freeman's henchmen, which one of them is the dad from Jumanji, the reporter from Anaconda, the butler from Richie Rich. It's him, you know, and he's him and some other familiar faces are trying to track him down. And this film gets a bit weird because some of the CGI isn't great. There's a bit of a helicopter crash and you think, whoa, it didn't look too good. But there's a lot of day for night in this. The film is a lot of blacks and blues when it looks like it's clearly. I mean, there's a bit where Morgan Freeman and John Cusack have a fight in the cage in a cave, and you think, what the fuck? It's all blue. And then there's a really poor random bit where the idea is quite good. Again, following off like First Blood. They're like, oh, we've got to go over that cliff. There's no gap down there, and the rain looks CGI, and it just looks blue, and then they're all going down this bloody hillside. And it's like, what the fuck? But yeah, So it's a bit of a cat and mouse. The coppers are involved, but then there's a conspiracy of the government involved, and they're trying to track them down, and it's almost like Morgan Freeman wants to go good, but he doesn't want to be good. Then they meet another couple, and some really good locations. There's a bit with the Icelandic boulder ravine where they're going across and stuff like that. It's pretty cool, you know. And then it's all about double crossing on the hitman and John Cusack. Find a new love as well randomly, you know. Like, that's just left me at the end there. I was like, who's the fuck's that woman? Oh, that's the other hitchhiking couple the son was perving on by mistake, and then the guy got shot, so she stayed with John Cusack. So there we go. Every killer meets his equal. Yeah, it's a helicopter. John Cusack, the little gun he's got all the way through it. My foot feels like it needs to click badly. Getting there. So the only thing standing between an assassin and his target is a father who must protect his son. The clock is ticking, the contract is almost complete. So basically, after a little bit of espionage and all that, it's all set in the scenery, and there's a lot of walking, there's a lot of talking, but it flows really well. John Cusack and Morgan Freeman are just Morgan Freeman and John Cusack, and there's no... This is probably one of the only ones where John Cusack's been a father to a teenager. There's me foot. Ow. John Cusack, he hasn't dialed in his performance, but he's a little bit bleak in places. Him and his son have a bit good chemistry. There's a lot of people pale in this. I'm not sure what's going on with the colour. The spook agent, she looks pale. His son Chris looks pale half the time. But as I say, they're just backtracking across the countryside, and for what it is, it's a good film. It was never going to be a blockbuster hit. As I say, Morgan Freeman does take paychecks, but it wasn't too bad. You know what I mean? I wouldn't say it was a bad film. I wouldn't say it was a good film. It's definitely not a what the fuck film, but yeah. As I say, I don't know if it's going to be 16 Candles. It might be 16 Candles. Just to wrap up this John Cusack one, and then I'm going to go back to Nicolas Cage. But yeah, that was the contract. So I've decided not to do 16 Candles, which is pretty stupid since I've just bought it for the review, but then it's late at night. I'm ending the Condog video on the left there, and Identity's on, so Identity's the next one, and like, I'm a little bit through the movie, and there's a shadow there in the curtain, and I freeze framed it, and you can actually see the killer's face like less than 15 minutes into the movie. And we know the twist in the movie. I've never realised that. I don't know how I realised that because the video in the background. But yeah, like, well done. Well done. So yeah, Identity is the next one. But yeah, that's proper creepy, that. It's proper creepy. Identity. Oh man, I forgot how good this film is. If you haven't seen this movie, stop watching this review, because I'm going to butcher it. So, came out back in the day. This is a very little copy VHS. Rewound. The secret lies within in a handprint. John Cusack, Ray Liotta, Amanda Peet. Stunning in this. Alfred Doc Ock. That weird one from Faculty. Selena. I can't do it. Rebecca De Morey. Alright. So I'm putting in people's name. A guaranteed hair razor that will haunt you for days. The best and the most intelligent thrill of the year. Right. So this movie come out, it's class. It's absolutely class. In the era of Twisty Sevens and a little bit gore, it's a 15, and it's an ensemble cast. John Cusack delivers this. So the idea is basically all these people meet in this rainy hotel in the middle of, the desert. You've got the prostitute, you've got the ex-cop, who's now a limo driver, transporting some ex-Hollywood star. You've got the married couple who are not getting along. You've got the family. That's about it. Oh, and then you've got the convict and the other police guy, and they get to the motel, and the motel owner's like, what's going on here? So you got all these people come for different reasons or whatever. They all get caught up in the storm, and they all end up having a room at the motel. And my fucking foot. Everyone interacts, and then it cuts back to the moment they met and goes forward. Then all of a sudden, the woman, the Hollywood actor, gets killed, and everyone's like, whoa, what's going on? And the limo driver used to be cop, investigates, and it's all going down, and they find a hotel room key, and they're like, oh, suspicious. So time goes past. The family, the mum's been hurt in a car crash. As you find out, the limo drivers ran her over. So they're trying to get her out there, and you know it's chaos going on. And all of a sudden, the crooked boyfriend gets stabbed, and then he's got a key on him. Everyone's like, "What's going on here?" Meanwhile, we get a completely separate story about a criminal, a fucking maniac, like getting transported. He's a potato. He's coming in for a last minute midnight trial. Press aren't involved. It's all under the wraps, and like they're like, no, he's convicted. He's killed loads of people, but we don't know who this identity is. So anyway, we think that he's getting transported. The red herring that it's Jake Busey, or it's going to be, you know, twists and turns, and who is it? Is it the real cop? Is it not the cop? What's going on? Anyway, one by one they'll be done. I went up the stairs and I met a man who wasn't there. It's fucking class film. Everyone delivers a brilliant performance. Ray Liotta delivers a great performance. John Cusack delivers a great performance. The actor who plays Larry, the hotel guy, speech about why he ended up in the hotel is fucking phenomenal. William Lee Scott, maybe's John C. Reilly's in this. John Hawkins, I think it's John Hawkins. It's class. The twists and the turns, and there's the start of this thing when it cuts in this video, this thing you see in the reflection and the colour in there. So it twists, it turns, and then it cuts back to John Cusack now in the room, and he's like, why is everyone looking at us? And it explains the multiple personality disorder and how the traumatic childhood experience set off a lonely tree of personalities, and they all clash together. And it's class. It's class how it goes back, and you think he's the killer, red herring there, red herring here. There's a bit where the entire fucking baseball bat goes down Jake Busey's face like that. I think, how would you even possibly do that to somebody? And it's pretty cool. It shows you think he's going to be bad, he's going to be good. Throws the red herring, and then you think you're going to get the happy end and everyone's safe, and you know, you're going to grow some oranges and Florida and stuff. Then all of a sudden, twist it again, and it's a good twist, and gives you the whole 7, like rewind. Ooh, did you see that bit? Well, he's a different angle. Didn't see that, did you? Oh, we got you. We got you. But that's what identity is. This has been the good, the bad, the what the fucks with John Cusack. It is 2:30 in the morning. I'm editing the Condog video. The film is just finished. I've really enjoyed revisiting John Cusack films. I'm going to start creating a pile of The Bagman or The Carrier, Being John Malkovich, 16 Candles. I'm going to throw them into a pile. There's more down there. Runaway Jury's down there. Igor. Yes, master. That one. Chuck that in a pile. Get the next Nicolas Cage ones out the way. Then we'll come back to John Cusack. Amazing actor, amazing talent. Has took some paychecks, but he's one of the best actors to break the 4-4 without a shadow of a doubt. He's an absolute legend. Right, see you in the outtakes. Once upon a man at the top of the stairs. That's not the riddle. So here's an outtake of John Cusack. Pushing Tin is a pause there as I'm just checking some audio for Friday the 13th Part 8, and I'm talking about one of the booklets, and check out this. Bond, Pushing Tin. Pushing Tin. Talking about Pushing Tin on a different video, why Pushing Tin actually plays. That is so fucking freaky. Next outtake. So here's an outtake for the John Cusack just before I pick up the pile on the floor. Well, I'm not going to pick it up tonight, but once I've refreshed myself and I've got the video outlined, I'm going to stand up. But I just want to chuck this in. This is War Inc. War Incorporated. I never even heard of this, and I was doing... the funny story was, right, I was getting these socks with Die Hard video. You know, they were in the price crash thing. And I picked this up because it was like that. Never even heard of it, and obviously the sticker was just over John Cusack, and it was $1.99 when we discount £1.40, so it's going in the pile because it was a John Cusack film anyway. But what really got us interested in this, John Cusack's back in it. It's written by John Cusack, So it's just something that's fell right under the radar. It's anxious, scandal, wildly funny, war and when it comes to war, America means business. So I don't know. They mean it screams. It screams. Say it again. It screams. That kind of John Cusack. Especially if he's wrote it. Well, we'll have to see. I was going to say I thought Jimmy Pullman was in there, but that's the producers. But yeah, we'll have to see what this is in the next one, along with the rest of them. So yeah, next outtake. So you've seen all the outtakes. I'm at the very end. Brit got this for Christmas. I've seen the book featured in Serendipity. I just put Brit Boar 222 in there. That's awesome little find there. As I say, it's been a couple of weeks since I've finished filming the John Cusack series, so just to have a bit flashback over there, you know, Better Off Dead. It's gonna be awesome just to file these away once I've done the screenshot. So there's Better Off Dead, Con Air, that fucking weird sci-fi film, Pushing Tin. We've had American Sweethearts. We've had High Fidelity, Grosse, Point Blank, Serendipity, which I need to give back to Casper. The Contract, and the last one, Identity. And War Inc., as you've just seen there, that needs to go on the pile. Now, I've also bought, so I mean, if you want to go through them, Better Off Dead is amazing. Con Air, it's good. That is a what the fuck. Pushing Tin's a good film. American Sweetheart is good. High Fidelity is good. Grosse Point Blank is good. Serendipity is amazing. Contract, you know, it's okay. And Identity, I mean, Identity is a what the fuck film because it completely just shatters dimensions and all kinds of weird shit going down. But since then, I've actually picked up a few other John Cusack films in the HMV sale. Let's get this fucking candle. Let me put the VHSs on there. So Shanghai, I got that on Blu-ray. The Butler. So we'll have War Inc. So there's 3. The Carriers down there and Runaway Juries. So there's 5. Being John Malkovich is down there, so there's 6. The Number Station I've also got as well. There's a new John Cusack Never Grow Old cowboy film. I haven't bought that yet, but I have picked up a new Nicolas Cage one, Settle the Score. So I don't know. It got 16 candles as well, so I might be able to scrape together another John Cusack straight away. I'll go for Nicolas Cage or introduce Van Damme to the series because there's a few Van Damme collections in the background, but. Yeah, it's been great. Serendipity, just fucking fantastic. I watched that at Christmas as well. And also for Brit to go out the way and get that book, which is absolutely amazing. So yeah, it's been John Cusack, the epic, the good, the bad, and the what the fucks. And we'll see you next time for, I want to say it's going to be Nicolas Cage, but I don't know if it's going to be John Cusack. It all depends on what I want to fucking pick up out of that room. So I'll see you next time for some more good, the bad, and the what the fucks. Goodbye for now.
And now, the end is here.